Good afternoon from Northern Ontario. My name is Dave, and this is McCarroll Siding, my N-scale railroad. So today I'm going to show you how I made the molds for my quarry. I was fortunate enough to work in at a home hardware store here locally, and they had some artificial house cladding that looked like rock. And so I got a couple of pieces and made molds using those rocks. So today we're going to do that again. We got a mold here, gloves, glasses. The stuff we're using is Rebound 25. It's what I've used before and what I'm comfortable with. And what we're going to do here is paint on the silicone on top of this rock molding here. So go back to this. So this is pretty straightforward. It would be difficult, but it's not really that difficult. Years ago, when I was in university getting my Bachelor's of Fine Arts, I did this stuff. It wasn't common back then. I mean, mold making was a skill that took months and months to learn properly if you were going to do it right. But we're going to get it started here. It's dead simple. I've got two little plastic cups. I've got a mark on the outside. This tells me that that's how much goes in one and that's how much goes in the other. And in this case, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So pour, he says, it's coming. It's coming. It's just taking its sweet time. As I said before, this basement is never really warm. Probably if it gets to 20 degrees, that's kind of amazing. So we'll pour that one out and we'll seal it up. Now, this has been sitting around for a while, so I'm taking a big gamble as to whether it'll work or not. And then the other one, and here we go. There we go. And now you can see that they're one's white, one's orange, and you mix them together, and when you don't see any more streaks, then you've mixed it enough. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pour them both into the bigger red cup, and I'm going to stir them up, and then we'll apply the first layer, and we'll take a break. They recommend at least 4 layers, an hour between each layer. Well, we're not going to stand around for the next 4 hours and a bit to see this. So I'm going to shoot this part of it and let it set up, and then I will do 3 more layers off camera, and then I'll come back and do the last layer on camera, because what I do, which is slightly different than some people do, is I take this mesh tape that's used for drywall seams, and between the third and the fourth, I lay it down and put it on the mold, giving the mold a lot more strength and holding it together. Now, there's several ways I could do this. I could just literally pour it all over here and let it set up, or I can brush it on. And my preference is to brush it on because there's some very fine detail in this stuff. Let's see, move that out of the way so you can see it. So it has some really, really fine detail in it. And so I want to catch all of that detail when I'm doing this. Now the trick here is when I use these, I could put them end to end, butt them end to end, and with some sculpture mold I can fill in any gaps so that it's all sealed up nice and neat. So let's get started. We'll get started mixing, and then we'll put the first layer on, and we'll shut off the cameras. And after that, and like I said, I'll spend there we go. I got these little sticks here that make life easier. And like I said, it's a little cool down here. When I do 3D printing with the resin printers, I've got cabinets that they're in, and little heaters that keep the printer warm, or at least the resin warm, while it's printing. Still having to fight with some of the models I'm working with, but that's the way it is with 3D printing models. You don't always get a success on the first go. So here we'll get this last little bit out of the bottom here, and in it goes. And you'll notice I'm wearing gloves. Yeah, you don't want to get this stuff on your skin. So when they send it out, they send you 1 page of instructions and 5 pages of the WMIS information. Kind of makes you wonder whether you should be using it at all. Now, my sense of smell is not the greatest in the world, but this really doesn't have a scent to it. So we'll just keep going here. Now I probably made up more than I need. I might have to go get another rock somewhere and just yep. Now, I've always just eyeballed it when I mix this stuff. I guess there are ways I could figure out the volume by doing a bunch of math, measuring it, and determining the volume that the mold actually has. Where did I put that on? I'm going to stick it over there too. So, you also notice that we have a new table here. Spent part of last week waiting on wheels, power bar, cutting mat, all for this new table. This is a little bit easier to work on because I'm sorry, but I'm lost my train of thought. I thought the other one had too much stuff on it and wasn't easy to show when I was demonstrating something. So I built this one. I got one more of these to build to go over by the 3D printers. It's right now it's kind of crowded over there between the machines and cleaning equipment. So I'm going to build a smaller table. Again, on wheels. Every one of these big tables is on wheels. That allows me to to move them in and out as I want. It also means that when I'm not shooting a video, I can work separately all over the place. And okay, we're getting close. Now again, you do this until you don't see any streaks anymore. You know, I'm going to have to go back to that store of mine and get some really big paint stirrers, because, geez, these little sticks are making it hard work to get it to do. Okay. And the other thing you'll notice is that on my table, I've got a piece of paper. And that's because I'm going to do silly things like this, where I'm just going to take that and stick it over there, and if it falls over, the silicone only ends up in the on the paper and not on the top of the cylinder, or the top of the table itself, protected. So here we go. So I've got a cup with orange liquid in it. It's a little bit more runny now when you mix the two together. And I'm just going to take my brush and dab Now they say in the instructions that you don't need to use mold release. This is going to be the experiment that figures out whether that's true or not. I have in the past used something like Vaseline in thinner. And brush that on first. Now, as you can tell, it wouldn't be a lot of fun to watch me do this for the next 4 hours or so. So, when we get this one covered, we're going to stop the cameras, and then I will go off and do other things around the house. Come back every 60 seconds or 60 minutes. Sorry, not seconds. If it was seconds, I'd be in big trouble right now. And then come back after an hour, put another layer on. Now you can see that I'm dabbing it, and it's finding its own level. The dabbing gets it into the cracks and crevices that you want the detail from, but eventually it my phone just beeped me telling me there's a message. You didn't hear it because it's in my hearing aid that I hear that. I'm actually completely deaf in my right ear. In my left ear, I've got about 45 to 55% hearing. So without a hearing aid, it's really difficult for me to function in social gatherings and meetings because I just can't hear people. And I know for now I'm going to need to grab a couple more of these and do these, because I've got way more than I need here. But I'm going to keep going here and make sure I get That's the hardest thing with these mold making is determining how much you need. But if I get a good solid layer the first time around, the other layers will go on a little bit better. Alright, let's keep spinning it here and putting it on. Now, like I say, I could have just poured it on, but I think this gives me a lot more control. So I'll just keep at her here. Now, the brushes I'm using are from the dollar store because it's going to be a useless brush after we're finished here. Oh, good that I turned it around because I've missed a whole bunch of areas here. The rock itself is, or the piece of concrete's actually hot glued to a piece of foam core, and then I put pieces of foam core around it and sealed all of that up with the glue gun, so that the glue wouldn't run underneath, or the silicone wouldn't run underneath and stick the whole thing to the foam core in a kind of semi-permanent way. So here we go. We're just gonna keep going here, and we'll do that end, and we'll do this end again, and then we'll shut her down. And the next time you see me, we'll be doing this for the last time. And we're going to do the same process there, or we're going to, after I've got the mesh in place and the fourth layer on, we'll shut the cameras down again, and we'll okay. That looks like it's pretty much got stuff all over the place, slowing away. I've got enough probably for another rock mold to make, so once I shut her down here, once I shut her down, we'll dig up another rock, and I'll put it on a foam core, and I'll keep going until this is done. But for now, it's going to be 4 hours, 5 hours later by the time I'm back on air for you guys to see this, because I don't intend to keep doing this in a kind of live manner at all. So let's just looking at my switcher. Let's call it quits for there, and I'll see you in 5 to 6 hours in your time. No time flat. Just a few seconds. So it's been about 5.5, 6 hours of work getting these molds done. I mixed up with the first batch enough to do 3, so we'll see how they turn out. The 2 of them have just only one good layer of pour over them. This one down here at the bottom. This one down here at the bottom has like 4 layers and the fiber mesh in it. So we'll see what happens in the morning. But for now, we're just going to let these set up overnight. They're supposed to have 6 hours of setting time. But I think it needs a little bit more time. It's a little bit thick here, and it's not pulling away from the plaster the way I thought it might. But we're gonna let it set overnight, and in the morning when we come back, we'll pull these apart and we'll see what we get. I'm pretty confident that the one that's got 4 layers is going to be pretty good. The other two, it was an experiment. By the way, stuff can be got at Sculpture Supply Canada. They have a really wide range of molding materials. This one is called Rebound 25. It's about around $50 for 2 of these bottles right here. 2 of these. The other bottle sitting off to the side here. This is a thickener which you can add and make the rubber even thicker as you were applying it. So if I wanted to do another pour on the top of this one, I might put that in here. But you only put like 1% of this stuff into the mix of the actual rubber. So anyway, we'll see you in the morning. Have a good night, and we'll see what we got. All right. Good night. Morning. Another good break early this morning. So these are the molds that we worked on yesterday. They've had overnight to set up, and now we're going to take them off of the rocks that they were on, and just let you see what they look like when they're done. I've already done one on this one here. This one here, single layer. It's fairly flimsy. There are a couple of holes in it. And then what I always do is I build a foam core box to hold the mold while we're filling it. Usually I put sand or fine gravel or something in there just to support the bottom so it doesn't stretch it. And I can still get a good pull of a mold out of that with about maybe 1/4 inch. I really don't want it much thicker than 1/4 inch because it's going to affect the way the quarry builds. So I'm just going to slide that one out of the way for now. Here. And we're going to demold this one. I'm wondering which is, well, it might be better on this other shot. Let's do it. Do it there. Okay. So you can see it's a fairly thick coat. It's got the fiber mesh in it, and so now we're going to attempt to separate it from the foam core and the rock. So you just start in one corner and peel up. So this is about a 1/4 inch thick. So we're just going to work our way around slowly and carefully. So one thing about these molds, you don't want to go crazy at them because they'll tear, and then you'll waste the time and the money trying it with that. You might be able to repair it by mixing up a small amount of silicone and sort of patching it from the inside. It's not the best. Okay, got it released all the way around like that. Now let's see if we can get it up here. Come on, baby. That's it. So here we go. Fingers crossed. Now, if you got undercuts, you're going to have to stop and free them, because they won't come out just because they're being held underneath the thing you're molding. There were some undercuts on this, I could see, and we get lucky here. Okay, careful. Corners and undercuts are your... So, we have the rock on its styrofoam base, and we now have a mold. Now, like I said, what I'm going to do here is, let me just turn on my glue gun. We're going to build a base for this out of foam core to hold it up like this, so that we can put plaster Paris in it. I don't use what's that stuff called? Hydrocal. I don't use hydrocal. I use plaster Paris because I can buy it here local at my hardware store. Big bag is like $10, so it goes a long way. And that's about I think that's a 10-pound bag. So that's the first the first big one. Now we're going to try this one. I'm just going to show you what I did to get this one started. I take the knife and cut through. And cut through again. Cut it off at the ends here. That's good like that. I'm going to start to peel this one. Now this one is a single layer. It was done after that one was done. And it's going to be very thin. Very thin. So I'm going to have to take it really easy. So I'm going to do the same thing I did the other one. I'm going to try and break free the edge first. Now, if I'd been a smart boy, I would have probably should have put a piece of mesh tape over top of this, even though it's a single layer. But there we go. There it's starting to come. Yeah, so just careful, careful, careful. As you can see, you got to go gentle. I've already torn it once here now. So that's why you do multiple layers. Because it's now if I really wanted to, I could just leave this and I could put another coat on. And you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do, because it's already been torn once and I don't want to tear it again. And I sure would like to use this mold. I don't want to waste the silicone. It's an expensive waste of product if I do it. So what I'm going to do here probably is I'm going to build a wall around here of foam core. And I'm going to mix up another batch today, but not on camera. I think you've seen enough. So, like I say, this stuff is available from Sculpture Supply Canada. The package with two containers in it is about, I think it's $49 and some odd cents. It's not very much. And you know, if you look at buying molds from Woodland Scenics or any other place, they can run you up to $15, $16 a piece. And if you bought 3 molds here at 16, you're pretty well close to the price of this this silicone molding materials. So I would, and you get to custom make your own. You can make them the size and everything else you want. It's just for me, it's a better all-around deal. So anyway, that's it for this video. And next week we are going to. I'm going to show you how I mix up plaster of Paris and put it in a mold, and we will do the two molds that are here, the newest ones. I've got a whole box of molds made not this summer but last summer when we were in the midst of lockdown. I spent a couple of days and more than a couple of these bottles for making molds. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please, hit the like, subscribe if you wish to, leave me a comment, it'd be great. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.